Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Rambling About Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Nick Pearl, and I know it's been a minute since you heard anything from me. It's been about a week or so. And the last you heard was I was going to Canada. And let me just tell you right now, what a freaking great time this was. It was a 3-on-3 ball hockey tournament that my brothers were playing in. They were playing for the World Cup. They were on Team USA. Did we win? Obviously not. But we still had a really good time. We did win 2 games. We beat Team North America, which is like upstate New York, some Canadians, and then we also beat France. But everybody beat France. France had a good time though. They were there for the experience, and so were we. So they high hopes, constant smiles from French team. Kudos to you guys. But we lost to Italy, we lost to Great Britain, we lost to the Czech, and we lost to Quebec. It's annoying because we should have won a lot more of those games, but we're in Canada playing Canadian teams, and the referees decide to, side with them. It is what it is, though. We had a really good time. My brothers enjoyed themselves. They got some goals, and I'm down to look at the dog in the back. I'm down to go back to Canada whenever. It's the first time leaving the country, so it was very, very fun. But now I'm back, and we have a lot to talk about. So let's start with this NXT pay-per-view that we just had. I had a lot of hype going into it. I thought it was good and not great, but it was a lot of fun. There are some matches that stand out to me. You got, obviously, the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match. Kalani Jordan, sleeper pick to win it all. I have no issues here with this one. She's the type of person who's a great worker. She's only been wrestling for like 2 years, and she just needs a character. She comes out with her powder in her hands, shows us the muscles. Good for you, girl. Who are you, though? So this championship run will hopefully give her some personality and help her develop even more, because she has a huge upside. Everybody else in this match, they all played a great part too. Everybody got their chance to shine, especially Sol Ruca. She looked really good. I would argue that she looked the best out of anybody in this match. After Kalani Jordan drops this championship, don't be surprised for Sol Ruca to be the one to be holding it next. I think she'll be a North American champion sooner than later. Even a possible NXT Women's Champion. But not in the foreseeable future with that, because we had a very good matchup, which was cluttered a little bit at the end, between Roxy and Jordynne Grace. Great match. They're putting on a banger. Jordynne Grace's ear almost came off. Her earring came out and was stuck in Roxy's leg the whole match. Nasty. I didn't notice it till after the fact. But they had a great match, and then the end happened, where you get Tatum Paxley coming out. TNA has their pay-per-view coming up. It might be this week. I think it's the week coming up. I don't know if it's this Friday or next Friday. And Jordynne Grace is going to be having an open challenge for the Knockouts Women's Championship. And it looks like Tatum Paxley is going to be the one to cross through the prohibited portal, as they say, and be the first one from NXT to challenge for this belt, which is really great. Tatum Paxley, her character's a little weird, but people are behind her. She's a very good worker at this point. I would just leave her in TNA for a little bit. Let her have a run there. She could do a lot of good there. I don't know if there's enough time for her on the weekly NXT television show to really develop her character more, other than she's a stalker, kinda, and she goes after what she likes. I don't know. Her and TNA getting some, pre-tapes done there, because nothing's live ever. That'd be good for her. You also had the returning Ash by Elegance into NXT, even though it's also looking like she's going to be going for maybe a triple threat for the Knockouts title. I don't know. They had to protect Jordynne Grace and lost. I think they did an okay job with it. I don't know. I feel like if they wanted to make a splash, have Jordynne beat Roxy and have Roxy win it back at the TNA pay-per-view. That's what I would have done. Because Julia, right now, I don't know when she's coming back. She should be back in time for like the end of July, August, so she could have that match against Roxy. Why couldn't Roxy drop it real quick and do a flip-flop? That would have been, I think, a little more interesting to me. Other matches to note from this card. Very, very good NXT North American triple threat match. Obafemi is just on another level. Yes, he's green still, but he walks out. He's got that aura with his presence, everything about him. It hits on all cylinders. This guy, if you give him a main event run with this title, like put him in main events, give him higher caliber stars. I don't know about you, but I think he could pull it off. He's a beast in triple threats. Let's see him in the singles. The main event of NXT upset me a little bit. They didn't get a lot of time. It kind of ended out of nowhere. Ethan Page has a terrible theme song. Started off all right, and then we don't want to talk about it. But they should have gotten a little more time. Maybe the next match they have, because I don't know if this is going to be the end of it or not, of their storyline. Give it a stipulation. Give them more time. The time just killed them. They couldn't really tell a 12-minute story. Trick isn't the type of guy to carry someone like that yet. He's got to learn. All in all, fun show. Let's move on to Raw. Monday Night Raw, I thought was very, very fun. Very good show leading into Clash at the Castle. And we're not going to go through every segment here, but we're just going to talk about the main points. Io Sky defeats Lyra Valkyria via pinfall, and I thought it was an excellent pinfall with that rolling crucifix. Nobody really does it anymore. Lyra had her up. They switch it. It was gorgeous. When that happened and you saw how Lyra flipped over, I said, that's the end of the match. We haven't had a pin like this in a very long time. So very, very fun. Lyra and Io having this little feud here, the damage control shenanigans. I love it. I love it. I love Lyra. Io's great. And speaking of Io, something came out about her last night. Io Sky on July 13th will be wrestling at the Marigold Destiny show in Japan. She will be challenging Utami to a singles match. Apparently, this is a dream match in Japan. And this is pretty big for the Marigold promotion. They're starting up. They're getting this major exposure. If they're having a working relationship with NXT, Io going over there, you know Julia's coming. This is just, little taste. You put a little salt on that. A little bit. But this is huge for Io. On Raw, she says damage control needs change. This could be the change that we're looking for. We're getting the Io Sky of old, before she came to NXT, or maybe the middle of her NXT Women's Championship run. We get a backstage segment of Liv Morgan giving Dominic Mysterio her hotel room card. Nothing came of this, though, on the episode. But Carlito goes, man, that's cool. Freaking hysterical. Carlito with the Judgment Day, I think it's a great decision they've done so far. And I can't wait to see what happens from this. But it looks like Finn Balor took that room card. So something's going down, and it's going to be happening very, very soon. Maybe even Clash at the Castle. That could cause Damian Priest to lose the belt. I don't know, though. I could still see Priest beating McIntyre because Punk comes out and screws him. There could be a lot of screwing around in that match. Chad Gable. He is not currently signed to a full-time deal that I know of. Nobody's reported that he was. They reported that they believe it's going to happen, but as of now, he's on a per-appearance deal, which is very weird for WWE to be pulling a TNA with that. But, sometimes you just got to do it when you're in the middle of a storyline. This whole story is building Otis up. He's going to be so sympathetic. Everybody sees that he's conflicted. He doesn't want to hurt Sammy, but he wants to make Chad proud because Chad's been there for him whenever Otis was down. And they did a great job recapping this really quickly in a backstage segment, saying how Otis lost Mandy Rose. Otis lost Tucky. Otis was Money in the Bank. Then he lost that. All these things, Chad Gable was always by his side. So that's why it's really hard for Otis to just full on clobber him. Could be happening at the pay-per-view. I don't know. Do I think Chad Gable does resign? 100%. We all thought that Gable, the end game for this was going to be the Intercontinental Champion. But what if it's Otis? An excellent match that happened on Raw. Braun Breaker versus Ilya Dragunov. I don't like that Dragunov's dropping all these matches, but they're building Breaker up as an unstoppable beast. And this man is a beast. Everything they've been doing with Breaker has been perfection. Nothing I would change. He beats Dragunov in an excellent match here. I would argue a pay-per-view quality match, which is really what Dragunov does all the time. Breaker wins. Ricochet comes out. I said, oh, this is where Ricochet gets ridden off TV because it's been reported that Ricochet is leaving the company. That episode of Raw just so happened to be the last day on his contract, which came out of nowhere. I thought we had another month or two of him. I guess not. So when Ricochet comes out, jumps over the barricade, hits him with that clothesline, I said, oh, Breaker's about to jump over and kill him. No, it didn't happen. Not at that point. After this, there's a backstage segment where Breaker beat the hell out of Ricochet, kind of did a lawn dart into one of those trucks in the back, and then did a power slam into the car. Goodbye, Ricochet. We'll see you at Wembley. Or maybe even at Forbidden Door. Maybe he's a secret entrant into the ladder match. I'm going to be there, so I'll go nuts. Very good shows the last few days. Had a great time in Canada. And we got a great pay-per-view coming up this weekend. Clash at the Castle. Going to be really good. A little bit of unpredictability with that world title match. So I've been your host. Been great being back. I missed you guys. I really did. And I will catch you all on the predictions episode for Clash at the Castle. And it will be dropping Friday night. Not the usual 3:30. Expected Friday night going into Saturday morning. Because we're going to talk about SmackDown too. So, I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's keep rambling, everybody.
You're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never